sign. So I saw this post this morning from a friend, like a fellow yoga teacher that was trained in the same style as me, and it's a picture of him like in a deep pose with our teacher standing right there, like working with him, and he kind of tells a little story about, basically it's a super deep pose, but the pose isn't deep enough, and this teacher, would always kind of move us further and further and further into poses, and it really kind of, especially when I was a young kid, and it was depth of yoga pose became what really seemed to count, or what we all seem to focus on. So there's something that the longer I've been doing this and the older I get, the simplicity of practice is what we're gravitating towards. It's not how deep you can bend. It's not how much sweat is on your mat at the end, but rather a way of supporting a more optimal self. There's a simplicity in the way we practice yoga. It doesn't take a lot of fancy poses. It really doesn't even take a lot of time. It's about moving and breathing and tuning your mind in a really careful, precise way. So, anyway, always a good reminder. Sit up tall, close your eyes, and let's sing. You can bring your hands together in front of your heart. Join me for 3 ohms, 1 round of the invocation, and an ohm at the end. Take a deep breath. Into your heart you can bow. And then release your hands, open your eyes, make your way to all fours, hands and knees to start. And then open up your fingers, move, breathe, connect your fingertips down to the floor. Yeah. What's that? Oh, they're right. Come on. So take your time to move around through hand to hand, through all those positions. You can turn your hands out. You can turn the fingers all the way back. Oh. Really making the hands strong as the first priority. Feeling the forearm muscles tone rather than just focusing on the big stretch that you get in the forearms or wrists. And then back of the hands down. You can shake the wrists out when you're ready, and then downward facing dog. Again, start with your breath. Make sure the breath is relaxed and smooth, and then just add little movements gently. Kind of working back and forth between your legs. Noticing if the breath changes at all when you find tension, when you find anything that kind of needs a little stretching. And you keep it a little more mellow. Good, and then from there just walk all the way up to your hands so you're in a forward fold. Take a few breaths. Hold them down. Pushing the feet into the floor, lifting the belly up. And then plug your feet down, lift your chest, come all the way up tall. All the way to stand, taking the arms, reaching up. And then make your legs firmer, press your feet down, grab your right wrist, a little bend to the side. You can work in and out of it, not trying to over crank the intensity. Keep your breath moving. That's always a good measure of, like, are you going too far? And it's amazing how if you feel a little tense and you start breathing again, it kind of like the body will loosen up. Come back up, switch, grab the left wrist, same thing, work into the other side. Left foot presses down really firmly. Trying to hold like the best posture you can, standing up tall, belly's gently drawn in, rib cage is lifted. Come back up, both arms stretch, and then exhale, fold down and touch the floor. Try to move with your breath as you inhale, lift your chest, and then exhale and fold. In fact, even move like on the back side of the breath. Again, inhale and then follow. Let the breath lead. Exhale and then fold. And step your way back to downward dog again. Press the fingertips into the floor. Follow your inhale, forward plank pose. Exhale to lower down. Press your feet down and slide up towards a little back bend. Keep your breath moving. And then back to downward facing dog. On the inhale, take the right leg lifted up high to the sky. Give some length back through the lifted leg first, and then try to root your standing leg to the wall behind you. Big step forward into a lunge. Take your time to come up. Especially this group, you guys know the drill. Like back leg lifted and strong, front foot heavy, and then good posture. So you stand tall, the arms just continue that open posture. So make sure the chest isn't sagging down, that it's lifted. And you just hold there and breathe. You try to make the pose feel solid, feel strong, but as easy as it can be. Bring ease in with your breath, trying to soften skin, trying to relax where you can. Take one more big inhale as you reach up, and then all the way back, downward facing dog. Good, and then left leg up on the next breath. Hold that lift, reach back through the legs, standing leg or lifted leg roots first, standing leg second, and then all the way forward into that lunge and come on up. Yeah, and the arms can go overhead when you're ready for it. Like there is something kind of simple, and you breathe, you move, you focus on the way you're doing these poses, and the way you feel can shift. Make the fingers a little brighter, press your feet down heavy, and a nice big inhale as you stretch, and back to downward facing dog on the exhale. Good. And then inhale your way forward, top of a push-up. Claw the floor as you lower down, chaturanga, up dog or cobra. You can go a little deeper. Don't let it get so firm or stiff. And then back to downward dog. Take the right leg to the sky. This time with a twist. Bend the knee, open the hip up. Push the standing leg to the back wall, then try see if you can reach out through the lifted foot. Big step forward, lunge. Once again, come on up. Yeah, arms to the sky. It's those usual things. The part of your body you don't see kind of tends to relax. So your back leg a little stronger, even moving the weight of your torso into the back body, kind of like you're sliding back. And then from here, stretch down through the back leg, stretch up through the arms, giving the back of the arms, the back of your back, a little extra attention to stay lengthened. And then you're going to step forward, hands can come to the thigh. You're going to step up. Cross your ankle over your knee. Sit back into a little chair pose. The hands can stay here on one or both thighs, but they could also choose other options. Fire up your foot, the lifted foot. Like really pulling the little toe side back, pressing the shin down against your leg. And as you sit deeper, see if you can lift your chest a little taller. Good. From there, we're just going to step back. So take your lifted leg, reach back to the lunge. And then again, take the arms up, big stretch. With your left arm, reach out long. Keep your left side body long, hand to the floor. And then rotate and twist. That little extra thinking about length, so seeing if you can keep the left side of your torso really long. Think about pushing your hips down and apart as you stretch the legs, and the whole spine tractions forward. Your head, your shoulders can lean back as you open deeper. Very nice. And then take the hands back to the mat, step all the way back, downward dog. Take your time to move through that vinyasa. If you want, you can go to plank, chaturanga, and the back bend, or you can rest. Good. And when you do get back to down dog, take your left leg up to the sky. Add the twist this time. Bend the knee, roll the hip open. And then that big step forward into high lunge. Come on up. Arms to the sky when you're ready. Fill into the back side of your body. Feel like you could breathe into the back of your rib cage. That in your mind, you're a little more focused on that part of your body so that you can add the stretch there so that it feels a little more balanced. It's great. So hands can come to the thighs, step up. You're going to wrap the leg around so you cross to this figure 4. Hips down, belly stays lifted. Keep trying to shift your hips back as you squat into it. So not like dropping the chest. If you see from the sides, it's really hips back, rib cage lifts. Soften where you can. Focus on your breath. If you're confused at, how do you make this easier? Make your breath a little more gentle. And then we're going back. So take the top leg, reach back into that lunge, and then arms up, big tall stretch. So get your shoulders to lift, the sides of your waist, the whole torso to be long. Reach forward with your right arm. So the hips stay high, hand to the floor, and twist. Take your other arm up. Left arm, or whatever you're doing. And see if you can rotate open as you push down and out, stretching your legs a little longer. You can lean back. Again, into the back body, into the support of the back side of you. Awesome. Take the hands to the mat, step back, downward facing dog. And again, you can hold down dog and just enjoy your breath. Keep it simple, or you can move through plank, chaturanga, and your back bend. Bend your knees, walk or jump to the front of your mat. Fold down. Root the legs, lift the chest, come up to stand. Big tall stretch. And then arms down. So that's similar pose again. Stand on your right foot, take your left leg over the top. So this time hips back, but try to bow forward. So it'll be a little deeper in the hips. If you can get your chest to your shin, you probably can touch the floor. Keep trying to slide the hips back and take the chest and head more forward. So you're maximizing as much of this in your hips as you can. Keep your breath moving deliberately. Let the breath help you. Lift your chest, so come back up. So you're coming back to this little this shape. See if you can so your left hand's going to cross and grab the foot. You're going to turn your chest through. You could do it deeper. You could hook your arm, your elbow in here and twist. What really helps is to make sure the spine is more extended, less rounded. Good. Come back up to center and all the way out. Shake it out. I am falling all over the place here. Left side. So standing on your left leg. Cross your right ankle over the top. Yeah. So still hinge your hips back. Bend your standing leg. And think that hip crease, that's what you're trying to increase. If you can fold down, get your chest to the floor or to your shin. And then, breathe as you hold there. Help it to open up. Help it just to get circulation into those tighter parts. Good. So then, lift your chest, come back up. You can put your hands on your shins and even push down so the belly and the chest lift. That's what you want to keep when you twist. So right hand to the thigh as you turn, or even elbow into the crook of the foot as you rotate open. Hips constant are reminding to stay straight back. Nice, nice Bailey. Good. And then back to center, come on up. Yeah, when you fall out of the pose, you're like, no big deal. Good, stand tall. Good, big breath in, reach up. Exhale to fold forward and touch the mat. Inhale, lift your chest. Step your left foot back into a lunge. And then lower your back knee down to the floor. Lunge your hips deep to the mat. So you can do a few things. You can walk your hands further forward, try to get heavier into the hips and longer through the spine. So the hips are moving down to the mat. You might even come lower. But notice if you come onto your forearms, are your hips staying low or even sitting lower, or do they pop up higher when you come on down to the forearms? Again, like it's like good hip flexed depth. And yeah, your hip flexor on the backside will be feeling it. There's all kinds of work in the front leg as well. Just be patient, it takes time. But if you can give it some energy, if you can actively use some muscle, some weight to press both legs down and apart, that can help to get you in there a little bit more. Just take one more nice, easy breath. Yeah. And then sit back, straighten your front leg. So you're coming into like a baby splits. You could go deeper. But work your foot so the front foot, toes are up, leg is tight and strong. Hips are pulled back towards the wall behind you. And then long through your belly as you try to bow into this. You can stay up tall. If it's tight, that will be plenty. If you feel solid enough here, keep your left hand down on the floor, twist, take your right arm up to the sky, turn open. Even harder would be to take that bottom hand across your foot. You know, there's always ways to make things more challenging, but don't freak out too much if you can't do it. Good. All right, hands to the floor, step back to downward dog. Yeah, you can move through a vinyasa. I always say you can rest because I think it's like important to rest. I think I've learned to rest more and more as I've gotten older. Cool. And then take your left leg up to the sky. Big step forward lunge. So it's going to be that low lunge, your back knee coming down, trying to work deep into the hips, down to the floor. That first, then take the arms forward and maybe try to come down even lower here. When the pose gets challenging, when you start to feel your body, that's when, like, can it be an automatic switch to start breathing, to not force so much. Maybe you back off just a little bit. You see if you can stay there and calm things down, calm the mind down, calm the body down. They all work together, so. It's like even if you come here just to stretch, it works better if you do all the yoga stuff. Like the stretch will be better. So come back up, sit back, straighten through your front leg. And you can decide how wide apart you want to take your legs. Press the heel down, draw the hip back, tight, strong leg. And then maximize the length through your torso. You can just think it's like good posture. You're holding yourself well and bowing into it as you're able to. And then from there, keep your right hand down, take your left arm up, and twist. Yeah, one more big breath as you open up. Awesome. And then hands to the floor, step all the way back to downward dog. Again, rest, vinyasa, whatever feels good to you. Do you have your own bottle of hand sanitizer right by your mat? This is amazing. Your own hand sanitizer right there? Uh-huh. Killing it. Killing the COVID. Uh-huh. It's like bathing in the shit by now, yeah. I know, I've used like Clorox wipes, like you're wiping on your skin. You're like, I don't care, I'm everything. It's the new normal. All right, bend your knees, walk or jump to the front of your mat. And then fold down. Press your feet down. Lift your chest up all the way to stand. Big breath, big stretch at the top. And then release the arms all the way down. So turn, let's face the right side of the room, just wide stance. Toes, so feet are parallel, toes are straight forward. Fold forward, touch the floor. Prasarita Padottanasana is the yoga pose. And feel free to move around mindfully from leg to leg, from hip to hip, to help yourself get in there. And I say mindfully, so there's a difference between kind of like a fidgeting where you're like trying to get out of the pose and paying attention to identify what you feel, what you could use, and how you can make that sensation a little more tolerable. How you can keep your mind focused on what you're doing. Walk your hands over towards your right leg to twist. So you're going to line up first with your leg, trying to get your chest close to your knee or that kind of rotation. But you could even rotate beyond that, turning the spine through a little bit more. Yeah, good. Come back down to center, over to the left leg, same deal. So once you slide your upper body over the left leg, but then there's still rotation, there's still this twisting of the rib cage. Keep the top of the thighs pressing back, the feet pressing down, and breathe. Nice job. Come back to center. Clasp your fingers. One more pose here. Hands behind the back. It's easier to start with the elbows bent. Take the arms over your head a little bit, but then retract your shoulder blades. Meaning like bring your shoulder blades closer together, stronger on your back, and keep that as a priority as you try to straighten the arms or stretch the arms over your head. Because that's important. The heads of the arm bones moving back. the shoulder blades moving closer together is what keeps this a safe and effective stretch. Press the top of the thighs back as you try to pour the upper body a little deeper into this. For one last breath. Awesome. And then lift your chest, come all the way up. Take the arms out, warrior two. Turn the right foot over to the right 90 degrees. Bend your knee to a square. That's warrior two. Go right foot, bend. I know, I have to if I step off, I have to run back to the... It's for those people at home that don't know what warrior two is. So keep your feet heavy, lean back, stretch your right arm up to the sky. Keep rooting down through your legs as you try to hold that as if the whole rib cage got lighter in an easier way, in a gentler way. Good. Go back to warrior two. Bring the elbow down, side angle pose. You can reach up. You could reach the arm over your head. And you're welcome to go deeper as you choose. The bottom hand could try to slide down to the mat or to a block. So you have options. And the outer edge of your back leg, push that down so much your hips actually lift a little bit. Feel like you're trying to stretch down through both leg bones, pushing your feet apart as you open through your chest. Good. From there, stand all the way back up, warrior two. Good. And then straighten your front leg, go triangle pose. When you're ready, just hinge down, take the right fingers to or towards the floor or to the leg. Yeah. Again, like good tall posture. So if you need to come up higher to do that, it's good. That will be beneficial for you. So both shoulders can lean back. The arms make this vertical line in triangle pose. Good. Beautiful. So then from your triangle pose, you're just going to stand back up, and we're going to pivot the feet to do the same thing the other way. Right foot turns back in, left foot turns out. Warrior two is the first stop. Bend the knee. Focus, if you push your feet into the ground and try not to grip so much in the hip joint, especially that left hip joint, it wants to grip. Lean back, take the left arm to the sky, take a nice deep breath as you reach and rise up. The more you press your feet down to feel that lift through the upper body. Good. Go back to warrior two. Come down to side angle pose. Again, elbow can just be here. Elbow to the knee. You're welcome to take it further if you want. Soften your eyes where you can. Steady your feet against the floor. Even in a pose that is static, isn't moving, visually there's so much more happening. Internally, it's keeping the breath moving. That's getting the circulation in there. That's allowing those openings to be maximized. And the way it calms us down and can center us. Stand all the way back up. Straighten your front leg, left leg. And then from there down to triangle pose. Again, you can stay up tall or work your way deeper and deeper. I kind of love triangle pose. I love like these two poses. There's something that feel different about them. They look great. Good. Press your feet down into the floor, come back up to stand, and then step back to the front of your mat, Tadasana. Take a moment there to pause. Chest lifts, sides of the ribs lift, and the arms can relax here. On the inhale, take the arms up, stretch. Exhale, bow forward, all the way to the floor. Downward facing dog, step back. Right leg to the sky. Step forward for pigeon pose. So the right knee opens out to the right side of your mat. And then pull the knees together. Work your way up taller. A lot of the pull with your back and knee. If you want to make it more challenging, just move your back knee further back. But the same kind of lift. It's like the pubic bone, even as you get more vertical in the low back, pubic bone still reaches down, belly and back lift. You can take the arms up and stretch. And try to lean back into it a little bit. But as you lean back, you got to rise up. You got to maintain the length. Oh, go ahead and fold forward. You can do it without your hands as you come down. And once you're down there, as long as you're keeping your hips level, which all of you are, you can move your back knee further back. It's trying to slide down so the inner edge of your right thigh eventually touches the ground. Or that's at least the visual to keep the alignment clean. Again, it really is like so much not about can you actually get the inner thigh to the ground. For most people, that's like a bad idea. Like you're going to be too mobile and unstable in the joint. That was the thing about seeing this post is this guy was like, he's like my age. We were the young guns, and we were the ones also that did all the crazy shit. So it's funny to see it echoed by somebody that I was like, he lived on the West Coast, I lived on the East Coast, and we were the ones that like demoed a lot of the party tricks, the craziness. The stuff that it's hard to get me to even attempt to do these days. Good. All right. Back to down dog. Take your time to get back there. Take your time to move around. Take your left leg up to the sky. And second side. Left knee steps forward. Pigeon pose. So with the back toes tucked under, you get more power, and you also will, it helps to get you off your kneecap because you want to be right in front of the kneecap. If you lift your back leg, you should be like right above the kneecap. So if you come down and you flop, pull your legs together more so you stay there. It still might not be the most comfortable thing, but so it takes some strength to pull in, and then once you get up there, can you relax somewhere but hold the lift? So it's not like it's not one or the other. It's strong, and then you just soften it without shrinking, even giving more of a geyser-like lift through the rib cage and soft. Arms could go up, you can lean back, you can take the hands back. And and then folding forward, hands to the floor as you bow. You can take your time to work deeper, breath by breath. Doing the things that take care of your body, your mind, your whole system. Good job. And then start to walk your hands back, making your way back to downward dog. Inhale forward to plank pose. Lower all the way to your belly. Rest there for a sec. You can do a little hip wiggle. And then come up on your forearms. You're going to bend, so you're going to use your left forearm to prop, bend your right leg in, pull the foot in. You can go from the inside. Eventually, here's one of the grips that works well. You kind of hook from the inside so you can push down. But make sure your shoulder blade is pulling back, the head of the arm bone's pulling back. It's your quad, but a lot of times you can irritate your shoulder if you're going for a too deep of a form. Press the pelvis down, stretch back through the legs. See if you can lift your chest a little bit. Yeah. Good. All right, switch legs. So propping up on the right arm, grab the left foot. Ardha Bhekasana. This is one of the frog poses. This is the pose I don't teach. I feel like I'm mean and I do the harder thigh stretches all the time. Yeah, so you can try to pull the foot in. You push the pelvis back through the knees. Draw the belly forward towards you. Good. All right, let the feet go. Maybe you want to wiggle your hips again. And so the wiggle, when I'm wiggling, what I'm really trying to do too is maximize the amount of my belly that's on the floor. So in a back bend, I want the ribs to lift. So I'm actually trying to keep my pelvis where it is and lengthen out. So when I come back down, I've pulled the bottom ribs more forward. And then bend your knees, grab your feet or your ankles. And that's the thing. So then you push down with your back with your legs, down with your pelvis, even down with your belly a little bit as you balloon up through the chest and try to open. You can gently rock a little forward, a little back, but keep your head lifting, pressing back. You really, the rock is a tool, but you want to drive this as much as you can from the strength of your legs and back body. Rest when you need to, yeah. Good. So Chris, kick your legs back so your arms straighten. Yeah, exactly. And then you can ride the legs up. Nice. Good. And then you can rest and wiggle. All right, flip onto your back. So bridge pose, essentially a very similar thing, right? A very similar shape. And though I talked, it's the same idea. I just said your abdomen
gets long, but it's also on the back side. And in this pose, that's what tends to get stuck, is the low back side gets a little crunched. So yeah, you want from your rim of your pelvis to your bottom ribs to be long, but if you took your hands to the back ribs and the rim of the pelvis, that is really the place to think about it in this version. Lift your hips up. Press your arms, your head down. If you're able to, some of you might be able to get your thumbs to those bottom ribs and kind of feel them and push with another finger the pelvis away. And it's not like it's going to make a massive amount of movement, but it might help you to feel what's going on. So in this one, it's easy to do the belly part, harder to think about the back side. And it should all be balanced. It should all be lifting, even as we work deeper. Rest whenever you need to come down. Pivot your knees side to side as a good rest pose. That looks good, Bailey, yeah. And then when you're ready, go up for another round. Do a couple of those lift and lowers where when you go down, that's why I love to teach that, because it helps you, if you were able to keep your ribs lifting, you're doing the lengthen through your low back. You'll feel those muscles in your low back fire up. It's helpful to push the arms down, the back of the head down. It's not trying to crank into the back, it's trying to lengthen the extension, the length of your spine. Up, this down. And then again, when you rest, a couple windshield wipers. So one more back bend. If you want to go all the way up and do wheel pose, here's your shot. Place your hands by your ears. If you're not doing wheel, another bridge, just like we were doing before. Another round to reinforce those positions, to see if you can make it a little more comfortable or easeful. When you do get back to your mat, when your butt is back down, take your feet wider, about as wide as your mat, more or less. Turn your knees to the right. Place your right foot on the left knee if it doesn't bother your left knee. And you can lift your right knee up a little bit. You can grab the pelvis and push it down. Bonus, you can even take your thumb and dig into your hip flexor a little bit. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of find anything that's tender. On the back side, most people will feel QL, quadratus lumborum, on the, like it's just off center from your low back. Or maybe your erector muscle somewhere around your sacrum. But on the front side, right above that little notch or kind of in your abdomen, if you stick a thumb in there, you'll find your hip flexor probably. Iliopsoas. Then you push down on it so you trap it a little bit, and then you hold that as you stretch. Good. Bring the knees back up, go the other way. Same thing, I mean, these are all just little things you can do. You give a little traction, holding the rim of the hip, pressing it down.
because it's beyond just muscles. I mean, you'll feel just the fascial lines pull. All right, come back up to center. Roll to your side and sit up. So left leg straight, right leg on top. If you can work into something like this, and you're comfortable there, you could bend the bottom leg and do both. Trying to repeat this one for myself a little more frequently because it's terrible. This can be a one for you. Like that. Ugh. Wherever you are, if you're in this version, you can use your hands a little bit to help line things up, but then the hips push down. Harder as you take your feet apart. Something that might help you too is to plug the thigh bone into your body. Like, if you need more, you can try to bow forward. Just make sure your hips stay heavy. When I repeat this more often, that means that all the classes repeat this more often because it's fresh on my mind. Because it makes me want to whimper. I'm okay. All right, sit up tall, take the twist. We're going to twist to the right. Just be this. Give a little push against the leg as you rotate. And then back to center, uncross the legs, quick shake out, and then it's going to be left leg on top. Second side. This is a great form. The bottom leg could bend in too. And if you're like this is tight for me, so if you keep your feet down, you move your hips a little to the right, away from the bottom foot, it wiggles you in there a little more. Yeah. And then sit up tall. You can help line things up. Use your weight to kind of push down through the pelvis. If you need to bow, you can bow a little bit, or if you want to bow. Air conditioning in the middle of summer is a wonderful blessing. Ooh. Thanks, Ben. Good, and then come on up, twist left. Nice tall spine. And then back to center. Undo your legs and lay on your back. Oh. Yeah, so lay all the way down. And then bring your right leg in for half happy baby pose. So
So you're just grabbing, reach up, you grab the little toe side of the foot. The bottom leg could bend if you're tighter. You could like stick your foot on the floor, or you can keep it straight, your choice here. And then you're going to pull down against the foot with the right hand. You gently push the foot up into the hands. So you can do like I'm doing, where I'll take my left hand and cup the heel. So I have two hands on the feet. So it gives you more of like a boundary to push your foot into. And you're pulling the foot more to the midline. You can steer the knee out into more external rotation. When you pull it down a little deeper, then you can try to kick the knee away, more external rotation, like more of that pigeon pose shape. If you can get real deep, you do that much external rotation, and you start to end up in a baby cradle pose. You're welcome to try to get there, like your shin towards your chest. You can rock the baby a little bit. Good, and then release the leg. Shake it out. And then left leg, half happy baby. So ideally you grab the little toe side of the foot. If it's tight, you might have to just grab your knee, or your like right in front of your knee, the top of the shin. The right hand can assist as well. Right hand can cup onto the heel. And then both hands give a little pressure back to pull on the foot. The foot pushes back into your hands. Use that to then try to carve your left knee and hip out or away from you. And that's the transition, if you get enough of that, to baby cradle pose, where the shin and the foot are like more in the center of your chest. Good, and then release the leg back to the floor. Give it a little shake out. And then my favorite pose is right leg straight up. Hold the back of the right leg with both hands. Push your leg back into your hands. Try to stretch both legs straight, giving a little extra length through the back sides of your legs. As you open up, you're welcome to walk your hands a little bit higher. You can bring the leg in closer. Take the leg now out to the right, keeping your left hip heavy on the floor. Left butt presses down. And then lift the leg, take it all the way up and across your body for the twist. Once you have the twist, once you're on your outer left hip, right arm reaches out to the floor and opens. Good job. And then come back up, release that leg back to the floor. Once you're centered, take your left leg up for the second side. Yeah, so left leg straight up, hold the back side of the leg. You're pressing the leg forward into the hands. Just like slowly, little by little, adding some length to the back sides of the legs.
Keep your right hip heavy as you open the left leg up, out to the side. Good. And then take the leg back up, take it all the way over, all the way across your body so you're twisting. Reaching the left arm out to the left. It's okay if the left shoulder pops off the floor. Think about getting your spine nice and long. Don't let it hurt your left shoulder. If it does, you can take your left hand and touch your hip, which helps a little bit. So you're just taking some weight out of it. Yeah, and just breathe. Let your body weight, let gravity help. And then back up to center. Bring the knees in one last time. Give your legs a hug. Try to shake any tension out. Relax. Get yourself ready to rest, ready for Shavasana or your meditation pose of choice. Stretching the legs out when you're ready, or coming up to sit when you're ready. Getting comfortable so you have the best chance at really being still. And bring your attention back into your body. You can start in the feet and just scan through up your legs, throughout the body. Noticing tension and relaxing that tension. There's always something to find, so it's not like a bad thing. But this practice can help you to be a little bit more mindful, more aware of places that tension creeps in. The common ones are your face, your eyes, your eyelids, your forehead, space between your eyebrows, your jaw. Take the tongue also away from the roof of the mouth. That's also actually a normal resting position that keeps some tension in our jaw muscles. Begin to deepen your breath. Starting to move your fingers and your toes around. Taking any gentle stretch. And then bend your knees and roll to your right side. Use your hands to come all the way back up to sit. Like yoga practices and yoga teachings can get, or can feel very complex. There's so much to learn. There's like so much more than a lifetime you could ever learn about this. And yet the efficacy can be accessed very simply. Like I always joke, even a really like not skilled yoga teacher, it doesn't matter, like it works. And yeah, we have the people we like, the types of style we resonate with, but even a brand new teacher, there's so much there, and there is so much that can be felt from such basic, moving, basic teachings. That you don't need me, you don't need classes. Like you can take breaths, you can find your posture, you can find your body, you can try to find where your mind is and make profound shifts. So bring your hands together in front of your heart. Thank yourself for showing up, for practicing, for doing the work. And a deep breath in and a very grateful bow. Namaste. Thank you, guys.